Hi, this is Stacey Rose, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, that stiff robo ginger Gary J, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. Previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, that guy, James J., alongside the leader of Squad, Kaliko Yachts, who may be joining us, probably not, but who is always joining us. He's in the chat room even when we're not here, the American Scooter Dust.
You ever wonder if Mama Lakabubu Day and Papa Umau Mau ever met?
And we have a very special guest from the Gr8ful Yardy Podcast, the Canadian sensation himself, Drew!
Woo! What's going on, folks? Old times have been changing.
That they have, Drew. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just alive, enjoying this crazy world known as professional wrestling, the ups, the downs. It's like a roller coaster. You're going up, you go down, you go up, you go down. You might spin a couple loops. But eventually, it all has to come to an end at some point and normal itself out.
And sometimes a bird might fly directly into your face.
You never know. You never know.
And it was a great week for Wrestling With, as we interviewed Stacey Rose on Tuesday and Gary J on Wednesday. Gary, a staple of St. Louis Pro Wrestling. Stacey, still making her name in the England territory. In the UK, always fun to catch up with, people across the pond, and I do recommend that one highly. I'd recommend both of them highly. This upcoming Tuesday, we got from Shooters Don't Die, Freddie Hudson. Great interview with a great guy. We talk all things Shooters Don't Die. We talk all things Freddie Hudson as well, including matches against Unsigned and Don't Care, the Red Power Ranger, making pizza, and if he ever played Five Nights at Freddy. And on Wednesday, Sean Donovan, a grizzled enhanced veteran, who's done everything, has done a lot in this business. We talk, honestly, X-Men and Voltron, and we do cover some of his career highlights, like a match with Su Young and his podcast, Diary of the Messiah. But yeah, you're definitely going to see a side of Sean that you haven't before, if you are a fan.
Or at least you get to hear it.
That too. Now that we're done putting ourselves over, it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the news. And it seems like it's a trending theme of bad news for AEW. Malachi Black supposedly asked for his release and was denied. Drew, your thoughts on that situation?
It just seems like AEW for the last few weeks or even months has been coming like a sinking ship, and I think the problem is that they acquired too many performers too soon. As soon as guys became available after like the WWE did its whole exodus of wrestlers over the past couple of years, AEW just jumped on everybody, and they don't have enough TV time to book these guys. And maybe he's seeing, because Paul Levesque is running the creative over in WWE, maybe the grass may be a little bit greener going back to WWE. So him being denied, I think maybe Tony Khan might have bigger plans for the House of Black and especially Malachi. But I would love to see him go back to WWE. That's just my opinion.
Your thoughts, Scooter?
I think this is absolutely a tampering Tony Khan, exerting not creative control, but contractual control. I have no doubt in my mind that Malachi Black regrets signing with AEW so quick, especially since almost nearly immediately after he signed, his wife Selena Vega was re-signed.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me if he wanted to be back, on a working schedule with Zelina. I think Malachi is one of those that they were tampering with. I think Malachi has a job waiting for him when his contract expires. Hopefully, Tony Khan hasn't written their renewal clauses that he can just automatically fulfill.
Well, adding another layer to this, supposedly this wasn't, I want to go back to WWE type situation, but, his mental health is in question at the moment. He's had some personal issues, supposedly, and that's why he asked for his release, and AEW still refused. If this isn't a matter of, going somewhere else and just, I need time away from pro wrestling, what does that say about Tony Khan that he's not allowing that at this time? Drew?
It just seems like you're not listening to your talent. Your talent is trying to tell you, hey, look, right now mentally I'm kind of checked out and I need a little time off to maybe recharge. But you look at AEW's schedule, and I don't know a guy's personal or Malachi's personal issues or personal anything personal that's going on in his life, but just somebody that
Right.
is very weary of what's going on in the world when it comes to mental health. If somebody, if one of your employees are coming to you and say, "Hey, I need a break," it's not like I'm trying to get this break to leave you to go over to the competition. It's just I need some time off, and if that's the case, it makes Tony Khan look like a total asshole. To be honest with you, it's again this whole he thinks that WWE is tampering and blah 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 blah. Maybe just maybe listen to your talent when they're telling you, hey, mentally I can't give you 100%, and maybe I just need a couple weeks off. Maybe it's some vacation time. Maybe it's to just recharge the battery. Sometimes we all need that as human beings. That something might have just come down the pipe personally, and it's just hit you like a ton of bricks, and you just need some time. And maybe Tony Khan should listen to Malachi and just grant him that time, whatever time that is. The same way how when Jeff Hardy has gone through his crazy stuff, and boom, he's off TV. You're going to rehab if you want to still work for AEW, and he's off to rehab. He listened to John Moxley when John Moxley was arguably the top guy in his company, and needs to go to rehab. He listened then, but all of a sudden now you don't want to listen to one of your potential top stars as well. That makes Tony Khan just look like a jackass.
Scooter, anything you want to add?
Not to mention that, Tony Khan said back when AEW began that they would be the promotion that takes care of their talent. Now,
wasn't that something Cody said not Tony?
I believe Tony also said it. I remember reading an interview that he made a public claim that he was going to give better health insurance options for the talent. And if Malachi Black is truly having issues with his mental health, Tony Khan is a complete hypocrite. But then again, when have we not known Tony to be the hypocrite? Not to mention overtly paranoid. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Malachi asked for this and actually explained he was having some mental health issues. Tony said, "Oh, we'll take it into consideration," and then Tony immediately assumed Malachi was lying, and thought he would just use it to go somewhere else and just never return to AEW. That's how bad I think it has gotten in the AEW offices.
Well, another blow to the AEW. Bobby Fish is not resigning.
Yep.
They made that angle with the Young Bucks for Undisputed Era attack them, and now nothing is coming of that. Is this possibly a sign that we'll be seeing Undisputed Era back in WWE sooner rather than later, Drew?
I just think maybe because Bobby Fish is up there in age, and I understand with the angle and all that kind of stuff, and maybe Tony Khan is trying to go in a different direction when it comes to the Undisputed Elite and not trying to regurgitate the Undisputed Era. Maybe that's why he didn't decide to re-sign Bobby Fish. It could be age, and it could be that I'm not trying to be NXT original or the black and yellow brand all over again and put that on AEW television. And I think that is what the problem is.
I mean, it didn't stop them like 3 months ago from doing that. It was AEW was more NXT than NXT was.
Yes, to an extent, yes. But I just think, for me personally, with Bobby Fish, he's not one of those guys that is like a revenue driver or like a ratings draw or anything like that. It doesn't hurt him not re-signing with AEW. I just think it's something where he's up there in age, and why am I going to keep a guy that's potentially not going to do anything for me on my payroll when I could use that money and probably get some younger talent and grow them up within the system of AEW and Ring of Honor to an extent.
What say you, Scooter?
This seems to repeatedly happen to Bobby Fish. He gets injured, he comes back, he makes one appearance, and then he's gone again.
You're not wrong about that.
Yes, Bobby Fish is up there in age. Is Bobby Fish done with wrestling? We never got to see what Bobby Fish could really do on his own. I think think we got one match between Kyle and Bobby on NXT.
I don't think so.
It was, but I think this hurts Kyle O'Reilly a bit more because, okay, you can make the case for Adam Cole standing on his own.
Yeah.
And Kyle O'Reilly, he was just beginning to really get into his own as a singles competitor when he decided to leave. So, was it a matter of Kyle wanting to be more of a tag team, be a part of a stable, or was he afraid of failing as a singles competitor? I think Bobby Fish is him not resigning. I really think is going to lead to Kyle not resigning, and maybe even Adam Cole, but that's unlikely. I mean, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm putting 6 padlocks on Adam Cole's door. But Bobby Fish has always been the underestimated part of the Undisputed Era. And the fact that he can't even be a part of Ring of Honor.
Oh, that's very true. Yeah.
Makes me think it's probably the NWA for him or retirement.
Or possibly an Impact.
No, because Impact is loaning people to AEW again, and
I mean, Impact is just happy to be in business at this point. I don't think that them signing Bobby Fish is going to create any bad blood between AEW and Impact.
you'd be surprised how petty promotion owners can be. I'm not saying it would cause huge trouble for Impact, but I think it would almost put a target by proxy on any of Bobby Fish's opponents in Impact should that happen.
Sure. But that does beg the question, Scott D'Amore versus Tony Khan in a fight. Who wins, Drew?
I have to go with my fellow Canuck, man. I gotta go with the Canadian guy, man. You're full up with those double doubles from Tim Hortons and a couple maple covered bacon and all that kind of stuff. You're good, and a bowl of poutine. I'm going with Scott D'Amore on that one.
He is Canadian bacon after all.
Yep.
Scooter?
Hey, I remember when Scott D'Amore was jobbing to people on WCW Saturday Night.
So you're saying he would job to Tony Khan?
I'm saying Tamura can actually wrestle. Tony Khan just throws money at stuff. That's his only attack. He can't learn any other moves.
Well, speaking of can't learning any more news, Braun
What?
Stroman might be returning to WWE. Is this personally, I feel like Braun Strowman can add no value to WWE at this point. He only has one. He only had one story his whole long career. Somebody pisses him off, he chases them, and that was his whole stick, and it got boring. But what say you, Drew? Does Braun Strowman benefit coming back to WWE? Is WWE just in a what's the word? A holly jolly mood to bring back people that they wronged, or what's your thoughts on the situation?
First off, I don't think he should ever come back to WWE. I just think right now because Vince is gone, and I really think this whole new regime is trying to make right what Vince's wrongs were. And for everything that we heard with the financials and this kind of understanding why all these people got cut, and I just think personally it's trying to make things right. Do I think Braun Strowman now fits in WWE? No. I don't think he fits in WWE. I don't think in where the direction of the company could be going. I think like you were saying, he has one story. He's one dimensional. If it's something like he was coming in to do a program with somebody, I don't know if it's to do a program with Roman or do a program with maybe a Drew McIntyre or anybody else. Maybe a one-off would be okay. Like when they call on a Goldberg or whatsoever, but to be actually coming back to do the full-time schedule, to be a part of the roster, I think that ship has sailed.
You made some great points there, Drew. What say you, Scooter?
I'm honestly, I'm all for a return of Braun Strowman. It's a matter of if he's learned to be different while having been away, and I'm pretty sure that was the reasoning Triple H gave from when he was asked may or may not. Strowman would really have to show improvement, and I didn't want to resort to this, but he's gonna have to show that his is bigger than Raquel's.
Well, speaking of Raquel and Aaliyah has won the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, and you were counting them out at the beginning, weren't you, Scooter?
I'm still counting them out.
They have the titles on their waist.
This is the only time Aaliyah will ever have any gold. I mean, I guess hooray for Team Bougie and Badass. Honestly, from a booking standpoint, I don't see how that made sense. Because
it just seems like Dakota Kai always gets the short end of the stick.
Yeah. What I was really thinking was, okay, Io and Dakota win the tag belts. And then at Clash at the Castle, depending on what time it is, we are
now we're into that.
we are in the void. Time stands still for us inside Wrestling With. That okay, maybe they do not necessarily a winner take all match, but if Team Bianca won, then Asuka and Alexa win the tag titles. If Team Bayley won, Bayley would win the Raw Women's Championship. This also makes me wonder who is going to challenge them. Are we just going to get numerous?
Sonya Deville, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we going to get like 10, 15 matches with Natalya and Sonya? I mean,
at least 20, 25.
I mean, they didn't have to bring these belts back. They could have achieved so much more had they made a secondary women's championship.
The Fox Network and the USA title.
I'm not getting into that again. Semantics. Well, you know, if it's a Fox title, it's of course a fake title.
Depending on what the Fox says.
And the Fox says, who did Bret Hart ever beat?
What say you two?
Yeah, go on.
Alea and Raquel.
They should have never brought back these titles to begin with. It seems like the booking of the women's tag team division is just all over the place. The wrong people win, the right people lose. I just think they should have kept these on the shelves until they had a definitive amount of teams that they could actually be justifying having these titles. I just personally think having these titles and then just throwing women together as teams kind of made no sense. And until you have a definitive tag team division, unless you're going to bring up Toxic Attraction from NXT and have them be your women tag team champions, then I didn't see the point of actually bringing back the women's tag team championships.
Do you think that this might be because we're bringing back, people, and that doesn't mean that we're not going to sign new people. Do you think that this is the start of a rebrand of a women's tag team division, or it's just the same, incompetence that we saw with these titles before they, got relinquished the first time?
It could be a rebrand, yes, but I just, from what we've seen with the booking of it, everything was just done rushed. It wasn't actually thought out. And I think the problem that we had with these tag team titles, it was a good, see, now the women have a secondary belt to actually fight over. And it's just like, yeah, but we don't have teams. It would be like having the NBA and there's only the Lakers and Celtics fighting over the championship year in and year out. That becomes boring. It's the same thing with this. You can't keep having... I know. Well, each his own. But you can't have the same thing over and over again, and they're doing the same thing thinking that they're going to get a different result. You can't just put these belts on somebody and say, hey, get over. It doesn't work that way. You got to put them in situations to make the titles look important, so that when whoever wins it, they do look important. Now, it's again the same. Like, I don't mean to go back to AEW. It's just the way I feel about certain things when I'm watching wrestling. It's a lot of hot shot potatoing of titles. It's like one week this guy's the champion, the next week this guy's the champion. It's like if you're going to book, especially women's championships, and want them to look authentic or even on the same level as the men title, you gotta make them feel special. And that's the one thing that the women's tag team division doesn't look. It doesn't look special. It just looks like, let's put a bunch of women together and call them a tag team and keep them moving. That's what it is. So it could be a rebrand, but I don't see it.
Okay. On some somber news, Impact Wrestling star Joe Doring, has brain cancer. He was originally diagnosed in 2016, got surgery, and went through chemotherapy and was back within a year. Obviously he relapsed, and now we're here. Um, I just want to say, thoughts and prayers to Joe Doring, a great staple of Impact Wrestling. Um, do you think we'll see Joe Doring back in Impact or even wrestling a Scooter?
I hope so. Uh, yeah, all I can say about this is, as someone who's gone through not exactly the same thing, but something in the same ballpark. I, I hope he beats it and he's back to doing what he loves soon.
Oh, 100%. Drew?
I second everything that Scooter and you guys are saying. All prayers and everything towards Joe Doring and his family. Cancer is no joke, and I hope that we see him again. But I just hope that he can beat the cancer again and just live a long and productive life, even if it's outside of the world of professional wrestling.
Absolutely. Alright. Um, Now, on to another person that I don't think we're gonna see again, but he certainly thought so. The Velveteen Dream has resurged, and he said, maybe I'll come back to WWE. Then he got arrested twice. For Patrick Clark, was it just wrong human being, wrong time, wrong situation, wrong. What was wrong here, Scooter?
Everything. At this point, I mean, who would have loved to see the Velveteen Dream return with his new finisher, the Soap Dropper? Or or hit you with one of those, Miranda rights. Patrick Clark is a disgusting human being. He deserves to rot.
Anything you would like to add, Drew?
Patrick Brown, or Patrick Brown, wrong guy. Patrick Brown is the mayor of Brampton here in my neighboring city for where I am here in Canada. But Patrick Clark is the John Jones of professional wrestling. This guy had all the talent in the world to be one of the most over professional wrestlers ever in the WWE system. That guy should have been on par with where Bianca Belair is right now. But he threw it away over stupid shit, stupid problems, getting arrested, 2 times in 1 week. Like, I just hope he's underneath the jail and we never hear of Patrick Clark ever again.
But you will hear is a quick word from our sponsors.
Velveteen Donkey Punch. Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with NXT Worlds Collide. I think this is the first time this year that we talked about NXT at any capacity.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you think that this is gonna be a rebrand, a kind of a new start for NXT, or is this just them trying to do something to get some ratings, or just what do you think this is, Scooter?
Well, first we have to examine what is it really that's going on here. Is it a system for total control? But is there really anybody out there? Then are we left to suffer because we can't go? What is it really that's in their heads? And what little life have left has died? It's clear that someone is taking over. Now this is when sacred worlds collide! I'm surprised nobody stopped me for that. Well, considering that we're getting NXT Europe, which I can't wait to see the brand new NXT European Championship.
Yay!
We, as I reported over the past month and a half, 2 months, NXT UK was on its last legs. We saw the migration of talent, assimilation into the NXT roster. I mean, if you're gonna eliminate a brand, that had as good as talent as NXT UK, you send it out with a bang. You have a shit brand like like the new ECW, and you just let it go with Zeke Jackson. I think this is going to establish a much bigger roster. Do I think NXT Europe on the whole is a good idea? Oh God, no. That no. I mean, what what land is encompassed under NXT Europe? Because apparently Asia is also being included in this. So it should be NXT Eurasia. But then again, I don't think they should have opened another brand across the pond. If they should have done anything, they should have opened it in another state.
And we talked a lot about that. But let's talk about the matches on this card. We are at the NXT regular NXT and NXT UK Tag Team Championship unification match. Gallus versus Pretty Deadly versus the Creed Brothers versus Josh Briggs and Brooke Jensen. Drew, who wins this match?
First off, I gotta say this. Ever since they rebranded NXT to this NXT Rainbow Edition, I have not tuned into NXT. Honestly, I don't know if it's going to change because the direction of Triple H and the rest of DX, but I just felt like it was a horrible show to watch. There was no continuity. I didn't like any of the characters they were spotlighting week in and week out. So to be honest with you, do I really care about this show coming up on whatever day it is, Saturday, Sunday, next Tuesday at 4:30 in the morning? No. But if I have to pick somebody to win this that I would like to see win this, to be honest with you, would be Pretty Deadly. I think they're a little fun little team from what I've seen. And if you're rebranding everything, I think the best thing to do is put it on a heel team and then let the baby faces work underneath them to try to capture the gold.
What say you, Scooter?
Well, 4 p.m. afternoon show. So props to them for taking consideration for AEW. First, I have to say, Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. I'm sorry, but this is probably going to offend a lot of people. And you can at me all you like. Josh Briggs either needs a haircut or a change in ring gear because he looks right out of an all-male party on Fire Island.
You say he looks like a stripper.
No.
A prostitute.
No, I'm saying he needs AZT. That's what he looks like.
Yes, but
if you were around in the 80s, in New York, you'd understand that. And I apologize to anybody in advance for that. It's just that curly mullet. As for the winner, the smart money is on the Creed brothers, but given that the diamond mine looks to be falling apart, I'm gonna go with Gallus.
I was gonna go with Gallus as well. Next match, NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match, because apparently there is no NXT UK Women's Tag Team Championships, thank God. We got Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Nikki Ass Ketchum and Doudrop. Doudrop, 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 Doudrop. Who wins, Drew?
Let's keep it on the champs. Keep it with Chance and Carter.
Scooter.
One, I hope Doudrop gets her name back. Let her go back to being Piper Niven, please. Yeah, this was a really smart move. You have a UK pay-per-view without two of your three major UK talents.
They fired all the rest of them.
I mean, yeah, Becky was not going to be there, and yet, I mean, yeah, for all intents and purposes, you could have done Aaliyah and Raquel against Nikki and Doudrop.
But they're not
And
NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
either way, Chance and Carter.
Next match, North American Championship match. Honestly, I feel like if you're gonna watch any match from this PLE, it's gonna be Carmelo Hayes versus Ricochet. I mean, that's gonna be a barn burner, any way you look at it. But who actually wins? Who?
It's Carmelo Hayes, man. That's the future right there. I agree with you. This match is going to probably steal the show. And to be honest with you, if I wasn't watching NXT like I have in the last maybe week or so, I would never know who Carmelo Hayes was. But seeing what he has done, I'm interested. But I think he keeps his title. I don't think Ricochet needs it going forward.
Well, I'd highly recommend you check out his Limitless career as Christian
Christian
Casanova.
Casanova.
Yeah. But what say you, Scooter?
I'm thankful that this match is not Carmelo Hayes versus Noam Dar.
I think we're all happy about that. Unless Elisa Fox comes back, then I'm all for that.
Carmelo Hayes is the top promo cutter on NXT, as well as one of their top talents in the ring, and putting him against Ricochet is an absolute blast of a match under any circumstances. The question is, are they going to pull the trigger on Carmelo being called up?
That's a good question. We kind of speculated that it could have been Del Fantasma.
It could have been. I was almost expecting Johnny Gargano, quite honestly, but I mean, if Ricochet wins, it's clear that Carmelo's going to get called up. But yeah, Carmelo retains.
Alright. Is the main reason so many WWE people on this card because not a lot of people, like Drew, not a lot of people are watching NXT at the moment, and they want to get eyes back on NXT.
Maybe, because to be honest with you, if it's supposed to be a developmental, of course it's okay for established stars to come back and kind of give guys the rub. And if from what you guys are saying, Carmelo Hayes is the next guy to be called up, you could do something where it's a screwy finish and he keeps the belt, and then or Ricochet keeps it, or it's a disputed kind of finish where nobody wins, and then the belt's kind of vacated, so they both go back to the main roster. But maybe, just maybe, it's not his time to be called up. He probably eventually will be called up because we're getting close into that whole Royal Rumble WrestleMania season after Survivor Series hits, and who knows where that's going. And plus, with Roman's schedule being changed due to his new contract, you're gonna need guys that are gonna be on the road. So maybe this is the swan song of some of these guys that we saw in 2.0 that are now ready to come to the main roster. So I don't know if there's a way you can make the finish screwy that they both can go to the main roster. But to be honest with you, as a person that doesn't really watch NXT anymore, it's just maybe they got to find a way to, maybe like you're saying, putting guys like a guy like Ricochet on the card is to get a guy like me that doesn't watch it to be more, oh, there's a main roster guy, let me check it out. So maybe they're doing that, maybe they're not, I don't know.
All right. NXT and NXT UK Women's Championship Unification match. Mandy Rose versus Miko Satomura versus Blair Davenport. Kind of feels like there's absolutely no reason why Blair Davenport is in this match other than to actually maybe get the title. What say you, Squirtle?
I think it's the other way around. Blair Davenport's in this match to take the L, so that Mandy doesn't, or that Mika doesn't. But the question is, how much confidence do they have in Miko Satomura? Miko Satomura is up there in age. In fact, I believe she might be the oldest active competitor on the women's roster. I mean, I want Miko to win so bad. Oh God. And when you call yourself I'm sorry, not when you call yourself, but when you're called the final boss, you're called that for a reason. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go with Miko.
What say you, Drew?
I have to agree with Scooter. I like Blair Davenport, and I think Blair Davenport and Mandy Rose, okay, but I agree with the age up there. They're saying due to her wiki, Miko is 42 years old. Maybe, just maybe, this is her shot to run with a title in a major promotion. I don't know much about her, but from what I have seen, I think she's amazing. And to be honest with you, I think it's time for Mandy Rose to move up to the main roster with Toxic Attraction, and Blair Davenport can be the one to take the fall.
I also do have to add, the potential of a Sasha Banks Miko Satomura feud writes itself. Is it boss time or is it final boss time?
Ooh, yeah. But this does beg the question, what would Gigi do to get on this show?
Isn't Gigi injured?
Yes, she broke her toxic.
Yeah.
And I love what you do, but you just broke her coccyx. Funny enough, I actually I actually wrote captions for a career retrospective on the career of Priscilla Kelly, aka Gigi Dolan.
Oh, interesting. Well, the next match, the main event, NXT Championship, NXT UK Championship Unification, the whole shebang match. Braun Breaker versus Master Tyler Bates.
Bait!
We're saying the same thing here, buddy. Drew, who wins?
Tyler Bate and Braun Breaker goes up to the main roster.
Yes, but is Bates dropping or is Braun breaking?
Bates winning the title. Braun is the one that's jobbing out. He's going to the main roster. I think Tyler Bates winning the whole shebang.
Wow. What say you, Scooter?
When you think of the plurality of things, this almost seemed kind of one-sided, especially since Trent 7 was released, and Mustache Mountain is no more.
Just a molehill. Mustache molehill.
Not to mention, I think Tyler Bate has one of the most slapping theme songs, and the most slapping theme song that reminds me of the rock and wrestling era. God.
Who are you going with?
But I honestly think it's going to be Breaker who wins, and it's Bate that's going to go up.
The way I could see it, if we're doing some good storytelling, I could see where Braun Breaker wins the match and have maybe him turn heel and have Bates chase. And when we get closer to Mania, pull the trigger on Bates, have him beat Breaker, and have Breaker go to the main roster.
The only thing is we don't know where NXT Europe will be at that point.
But we don't know. Well, apparently Bates is in normal NXT now.
Yes, Tyler Bate is. Whether this is simply, just a layover, still remains to be seen.
Very true. Alright. Well, I'd say we'll review this next week, but probably we have more important things to review next week. So we will conclude that coverage for now. Uh, and yeah, we'll talk about NXT again when there's something worth talking about. And we are wrestling with AEW All Out. It's tomorrow. It's it's what's the word? It's interesting to see for all the wrong reasons. I would say, it's not the same AEW a couple months ago when they had all double or nothing. You could say it's a very different AEW, and we're gonna go through it all. We got the pre-show first. FTW Championship match. Hook versus Angelo Parker. Who wins, Drew?
Hook Kid.
Scooter.
Hook.
Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii. I'm not gonna say that this isn't gonna be a bad match because it's probably gonna be a slobber knocker. But did personal issues between Eddie and Sammy cost Eddie a shot on the main show? Drew.
Yeah, it did because it shows that you're unprofessional. You can't be trusted. So this is kind of the punishment. But if your punishment is getting to face Ishii on a pre-show, then I'd take that punishment over being on the main show. To be honest with you.
And it is worth noting that Sammy Guevara is nowhere on this card.
Exactly. So, in a sense, was Eddie Kingston in the wrong, or was Sammy Guevara in the wrong?
Very true. But who wins this match?
I'm gonna give it up for Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston goes over here.
What say you, Scooter?
Yeah, I gotta give it to Eddie.
Well, do you kind of feel like, these issues between Sammy and Eddie, they might say, put Ishii over? That's kind of how I feel about it, anyway.
Mm. It very well might.
Yeah, I'll go with Ishii. AEW All Atlantic Championship match. The Boston Pac versus Eddie Izzard. Oh, Kit Sabian. Kit Sabian, yes. This is correct. Who wins, Drew?
Pac regains his title.
Scooter.
Pac retains.
House of Black versus Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro. We're on the main show at this point. Who wins, Drew?
I think it's a screwy finish, and the House of Black wins, and you continue the feud.
Scooter?
I think Sting, Miro, and Darby.
Is this... We're on the main show at this point. Is this a waste of great talent? Having, obviously Darby is one of the most beloved guys on the roster. Sting is fucking Sting. Why are they kind of being drawn on this throwaway six-man when we could have, a singles match or a tag team match or something really worth their time?
Because at this point I'm pretty sure Sting is refusing to do one-on-one matches.
Well, he could do tag team matches. He's been doing tag team matches.
Yeah, but I have a feeling they kind of wanted Sting versus Malachi. And when they knew they wouldn't get it, they ended up throwing Miro into it. Which, by the way, I don't remember. Has Miro ever gotten his revenge on Kip Sabian?
No. I mean, Kip Sabian needed revenge on Miro.
Yeah, that's right.
Does anybody get off this point?
No.
I mean, if Kevin Owens can, hold a grudge for 18 months,
Yeah. Exactly.
I think, to be honest with you with this match, I just think it's holdovers from a storyline, and it's pretty much. I like to see the feud continue. To be honest with you, that's why I picked the House of Black to win. But if you harken back to what happened in the ladder match with Miro getting the miss by Malachi Black, it's all storyline based. So this could be the crescendo or the end of the story. So all these six men are intertwined because of storyline reasons, and then this is just the blow off. So if you want the heroes to win, great. If you want the heels to win, great. It doesn't really matter either way. It's a storyline booking scenario. Yes, it would have been awesome to see one-on-one matches. Malachi versus Miro would have been great. Darby versus Malachi would have been great. Brody King and Miro would have been great. But I just think it's all to intertwine a storyline and to wrap it up in a six-man tag is the best way to do it. Plus, it protects Old Man Sting from protects him, but it also makes him look great because he's hidden with these five other great talents.
it's showtime, folks!
Well, let me ask, before we continue on to the next match, this is obviously AEW's WrestleMania. It's their biggest show of the year. Theoretically, supposedly. The matches that I'm going to ramble off after this one. Does this feel like a WrestleMania quality card, or does this feel like some of these matches are kind of thrown together? Some of them are just fill-in matches, so to speak. Start with Scooter.
You forget at a time that's what WrestleMania was. WrestleMania was filled with filler matches. There's a time when WrestleMania was built around really one or two matches. WrestleMania 5, 6. I say 7, but yeah, I'd include 7 in that. 8. 9 had filler matches, but then again, it barely had a card. 10. It kind of stopped there at 10. So,
What you're saying is we need what, 5, 7 more all outs for it to be a quality show?
I'd say a couple of more years before and they know how to make every single match matter.
What say you two?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you guys go to McDonald's for Burger King?
Yes.
Or do you go to Jack in the Box for Chick-fil-A?
Oh, yes.
The answer is no, you don't. So our problem is that we're trying to compare somebody that has had, I don't know, 50 years, or let's go with WrestleMania. So like 37, 38 years of booking a prime professional wrestling program, where, as Scooter said, yes, if you go from WrestleMania 3 until about 9, it was built on one match. The only reason why people showed up to Pontiac, Michigan wasn't to see the rest of the card. It was for Andre and Hulk. The reason why I showed up to Skydome in Toronto at WrestleMania 6 wasn't to see the Honky Tonk Man. It was to see Hulk and the Ultimate Warrior. Our problem here is that we are trying to compare somebody or organization in the WWE with WrestleMania that has put on a show for the last almost 40 years. So they kind of have a track record of knowing how to put together a phenomenal product. AEW is what, 3-4 years old at most? And this is what, maybe the fourth All Out? So they're learning, as Scooter said. They're learning to put together a show. You can't automatically think that you're going to get WrestleMania quality stuff from an organization that is not giving you WrestleMania. Let them do what they do. So if All Out is supposedly their biggest show of the year and they want to stack the card with whomever they stack the card with, to me, AEW's problem has never been in-ring. That is not their problem. Their problem is storyline continuity and hotshot booking. That is their problem. They're like Tony Khan is trying to appease every single master. It's the Laughs fan. It's the internet community. It's the guys over at Discovery. It's like if you're gonna book the show, and that's it. It's 14 matches on this card that I see in front of me here. It's 14 matches. Is every match going to be WrestleMania quality or 7 stars thanks to Dave Meltzer? No, it's not. But are they going to entertain you for the 4.5 hours that they're going to try to entertain you? I bet you bottom dollar for what they're giving you value-wise, they probably are. So we need to stop trying to say AEW is going to give us WrestleMania when it's not going to happen. This is their show. Let them book it the best way possible. If it comes off great, great. If it comes off like a shitty show, then we'll complain that it was a shitty show.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think this is going to be a shitty match. I think this is going to be maybe an underrated match on the card. Ricky Stark versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Who wins, Sweeto?
You say Zoe Starks, but you say Ricky Stark.
This is his name.
Starks!
Yes, we're saying the same thing. His name is Stark.
Thank you. I'm sorry that's the teacher in me. Clearly Starks is on Starks is on a huge push. So yeah, Starks walks away with the win.
What say you, Drew?
I agree. Starks walks away with it. He's getting that babyface push right now. So yeah, Starks wins. Sorry if I said the name wrong.
No, I just did the piss off Scooter. We got the match that everybody bought a fucking ticket to see this, and so bought the pay preview. This is the match. This is the one that's gonna put asses in seats. Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. Who wins, Scooter?
I mean, technically he's fighting Jack Perry as explained on Dynamite. He's not getting Jungle Boy.
And that would have hit like really strongly if we didn't already know that his name was Jack Perry because JR mentions it every fucking time he comes out.
I mean, maybe he finally becomes Jungle Man. I think the question here is, does Luchasaurus go back to being a heel again? At this point, Luchasaurus is on par for as many heel turns as Mark Henry and Big Show. But clearly, this is Jungle Boy's match to win. So, yeah, there's no reason Christian should be winning this. He can't outwork anyone, let alone everyone anymore, so Jungle Boy.
And I think I think Luchasaurus is on par for giving us a full tank of gas. But Drew, what say you?
He's here all week. Tried the veal, but I think Jungle Boy wins this match. And I really think Luchasaurus is going to play some factor in the match, some way, somehow. I don't know if he's going to turn on Jack Perry or side with him. Who knows? But I just think his promo on Dynamite kind of got me very much interested. Christian stuff that he's been doing ever since he's made the heel turn, and I really think Christian has always been a better heel than he has been a babyface.
Yeah.
But his work that he's been doing with Jungle Boy has elevated Jungle Boy to that next level. So I think Jungle Boy wins here, and Luchasaurus has to play some factor in it, some way, somehow.
Alright. Now this is the match that, I just question why. We got Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. This is basically a throwaway match where your secondary champion and one of the most over guys in your whole entire company in FTR, and you're giving them Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. No disrespect to those guys, they're great, but I mean, there's no beef there. There's nothing, there's no story there. And Wardlow, again, champion. Why not have him defend the championship? Scooter.
Well, originally, wasn't this supposed to be Samoa Joe
I have no
and
idea.
FDR? Or was it even supposed to? It was supposed to be an 8-man tag. With Lethal and the Gunter, Duck Lethal and whatever the tall Indian fella, Satnam Satellite Singh.
Batman sings.
Yes, he sure does. We love to hear the Fat Man sings. Yeah, again, I mean, Wardlow is your second top superstar, from a television standpoint. He's the secondary champion. There's no reason he should be part of a throwaway match. Then again, that being said, I think there is a curse on titles when you give them less than 4 letters of a name. So, if the title name has 3 letters or less, it's gonna be bad.
What about the IC title?
That's an abbreviation. See, the TNT title here, that's not an abbreviation. It's not the Turner Network Television Championship.
Well, it kind of is.
Except it's nevertheless, Wardlow. I mean, you should have had your champion defend. I mean, look at the number of talent that's available that you fucking have on your fucking roster, Tony Khan. And as as much as I love the Motor City Machine Guns, they're also going to waste here.
Oh, without a doubt.
You may as well just do FTR against the Guns and not the Gun Club, not the Ass Boys. That you might as well just do FTR and the Guns and screw it, have Wardlow and Jay Lethal for the TNT title. Either way, Wardlow and FTR win.
What say you two?
All right. First and foremost, this is more of a booking situation.
Yes.
They don't have confidence in Satnam Singh. Remember, in storyline, Satnam Singh said to Wardlow, "Powerbomb me."
Yeah.
But they don't have the confidence to put Satnam Singh in a one-on-one match to actually do that spot. That's why we're getting this match that means absolutely nothing. It's like an all-star game. It's again, you're putting FTR on the show because they're the most over act in your promotion, and you're trying to fit them on the biggest show of the year. So you're just going to throw them on there. I agree with what all you guys are saying. This is all semantics and booking 101. That's the problem. You haven't set you have FTR win these Ring of Honor titles. Why couldn't you do the rematch with the Briscoes on this show? And then you do Jay Lethal with Samoa Joe or Jay Lethal with Wardlow to get the TNT title.
I mean, they had Aussie Open there, who
there were so many other ways you could have gone with this, and it just seems like, again, you're just throwing pasta at the wall and seeing if it sticks, and it just doesn't make sense with a bunch of people that are not beefing to put them together in a match because they were on a former team together in FTR and Wardlow in the Pinnacle to face a bunch of people they have no problem with. It's just like, okay, you guys are going to wrestle and you guys are going to give us a good 10, 12, 15-minute match and we keep it moving. But I think that's the problem. They don't feel secure enough in the big guy Satnam Singh. That is why we get this throwaway match. See, that is the issue and the problem. You cannot debut somebody that you don't feel confident enough to put them in situations to get them to thrive. Because Wardlow technically didn't need the TNT title. He was already over with that whole stuff with MJF and he's trying to be his own man and yada, 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 yada. And he could have continued on doing that without the TNT title. And like you were saying earlier with that whole House of Black and where to go with that whole situation, there's somebody right there that hasn't gotten their TNT championship rematch in Miro. You could have run some storyline 3-4 weeks ago where Miro is trying to regain that title and he faces Wardlow. It's just a lot of this booking has really and truly come down to the last week to 48 hours up into the show, and who knows going into it if any of these matches that we see that is the card actually going to play out on Sunday night.
You might not be wrong about that. With all the drama going on in AEW at the moment, yeah, the main event might not actually happen. But one match I think is going to happen. Jade Cargill versus Athena for the TBS Championship. And that's an abbreviation for that bitch show, just so you know, Scooter. So it has more than 3 syllables.
No. It's not for that bitch show. It's for Turner Broadcast Systems. Get it right. James, get it right.
That being said, who wins, Scooter?
People with weird fetishes. That's who wins. Jade Cargill, clearly.
Drew.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Jade Cargill wins that one.
Alright. Casino Battle Royal. No, Casino Ladder match. Because this is the match everybody wanted to see. Because, everybody that didn't have a match is on this card now. We, Claudio Ida Canoli, Rey Mysterio Phoenix, Rush Hour 3, Dante Martin, Andrade
Sorry to cut you off.
Idaho,
Sorry to cut you off, James. Claudio whom
Ida
is in this
Canoli.
match?
Claudio Ida Cannoli.
Ida Cannoli. Oh, cannolis are pretty good.
Yeah, delicious.
Yeah, cannolis are delicious.
Dante Martin, Andrade Idaho, Penta L0, Willa Yuta, and a mystery guy.
Sorry, get it right, James. It's Cash Wheeler Yuta.
Cass Willa Yuta, my bad. Who wins the fucking match?
Let's see. Penta L0 shit. Penta L0 Merd. God. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's the TBD that wins.
So Adam
The
Michael Cole?
Yeah, I mean, is anybody not expecting this? Not expecting that to be Adam Cole?
Not me, baby.
I mean, if it's another, fired NXT talent or WWE talent, watch it be Trent Seven.
Oh, God.
I mean, unless the TBD is somebody significant, this is Mr. Ida Cannoli's match. So, Claudio Castagnoli.
What say you, Drew?
I like the Adam Cole angle. The safe bet would be Claudio, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's the returning MJF.
Ooh. You know what I said? We didn't say MJF for sure. Personally, I kind of like to see Rush win this match. But that's just me.
Whoosh.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
So it's on par with what AEW does.
Basically, yes.
AEW World Trios Championship match. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Best Friends?
Hangman Adam Page, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. Dark Order.
Dark Order. Okay, so Dark Order versus Omega and the Bucks. Who wins, Skidor?
Talk about a waste of talent.
I don't understand why they put the Bucks and Kenny in this match, so people could actually care about it, because if this was anybody else, probably not.
Yes, but then again, at the same time, it's putting the people that weren't WWE born and bred, into, this is just a weird match. To call. However, I do think it's going to be the Dark Order. I think we're getting Omega and Ospreay down the line. So yeah, Dark Order.
What say you, Drew?
Yeah, I agree. It's the Dark Order. I like the fact that you kind of could be wrapping up the whole story with Hangman Page and the Elite there with the Bucks turning on him and all that kind of stuff when he was going through all that stuff in the Dark Order. It's like storyline esque in a sense, and I don't see the point of the Elite having the trios championships going forward. And like Scooter was saying, with Omega and Osprey possibly down the line, I just see the Dark Order winning going forward.
I kind of feel like, they want that name value or attached to who was the first trios champion. So, to me, the Bucks and Omega has more name value, I'm sorry, they do, than the Dark Order at this point. So I'm going with the Bucks and Kenny. AEW Tag Team Championship match. Swerve in All Glory, Isaiah Swerve Scott versus, and Keith Lee versus the Acclaimed. Scissor, me, pass, Daddy. Who wins, Scooter?
Uh, by the way, Swerve in Our Glory is the worst team name ever. Oh, God. Yeah, but, yeah, Swerve in Our Glory to retain.
What say you, Drew?
I'm looking forward to this match, to be honest with you. I really like the Acclaim as a team. They're like the homegrown AEW guys that have made it, and I think the story for them is that they just come up a little short on their first attempt at the tag titles, but you'll probably see the best tag champs down the road. So Swerve in Our Glory, which is kind of a horrible name, sounds like something out of the 1990s, to be honest with you, some kind of R&B group. But they'll win and retain their tag team championships.
I kind of felt like the Acclaim is really hot right now, and usually they pull the trigger on whoever's hot at the moment. Um, that being said, it's a cold match because there is no, heat between these guys, and they're both faces. So, having this match in general just doesn't make sense to me. That being said, going with the Acclaim. Okay, interim AEW women's championship match. Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Kushida versus Britt Baker. Who wins, Scooter?
Sheeta.
Drew.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Jamie Hayter wins. To be honest with you, I see a storyline brewing there where Jamie Hayter kind of screws Britt Baker, turns face, and wins. Because I don't want to see Britt Baker with the title again, and I definitely don't want to see Tony Storm with the belt. So I'm gonna go Jamie Hayter.
I can agree with you, Drew. I mean, if you want to go with the safe bet, it's Sheeta, and I think if anybody really deserves it's definitely Sheeta. But if we're going with maybe there's a storyline in promoting somebody, Jamie Hayter's the right way to go, and it does feel like that may be the direction they're going. All right. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus Lionheart, Chris Jericho. Who wins, Drew?
You know what? I'm gonna say no contest because it's clear this is leading to some sort of submission match, maybe even AEW's first I Quit match. With Daniel Garcia on the line, or Daniel Garcia as the special referee, something like that.
Daniel Garcia on a pole match.
And that pole ain't greased. So yeah, I'm going to say no contest.
What say you, Drew?
This match has nothing to do with the two guys involved in the match. This match has everything to do with Daniel Garcia. So I think we're going to get a DQ kind of finish. And it's, to me, setting up for Daniel Garcia to feud with Jericho, because he doesn't feel he's a sports entertainer. He actually feels that he's a professional wrestler. So there's where the story's going, to help propel Daniel Garcia even further along than where he is right now. What he's been doing over the last month and stuff, building up with the matches that he had with Bryan Danielson. I'm still not going to get that right. After 10 years of calling the guy Daniel Bryan, I don't think I'm ever going to get that right. Oh, yeah. But him having those matches with Bryan Danielson, I really think going forward, and from what I hear or what I see, Daniel Garcia's hometown is in Buffalo, and next week's Dynamite's in Buffalo. So there has to be some way, somehow, coming out of this pay-per-view that maybe Bryan wins, but it's because of Daniel Garcia's screwing over Chris Jericho in some shape or fashion to set up a match between them down the road.
Okay. I'm just gonna go with Bryan Danielson. I guess it makes the most sense. And then we have the last match, the main event, the thing everybody wants to see. At least in Chicago they do. CM Punk versus Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship. We went into depth last week of, was this a screw job? Was Punk just dropping the title? What was the ideas here? And what we didn't see was that Ashton Kutcher was in the front row because we all got Punk. So yeah. Who wins the match, Scooter?
Again, Punk is a victim of his own hubris, and I still want to know what power Ace Steel's words have that can suddenly cure a guy who came back too soon from injury to make him ready for a match 2 weeks later.
1 week later.
Technically, a week and a half. Regardless, they booked themselves into a corner because Tony wanted a ratings grab. What's supposed to be seen as, such an unexpected and shocking, brilliant booking decision. No. And now, if Mox wins on Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Purple Day, last week, if Mox wins, he's technically a victim of Punk's own hubris via proxy, because then what was the point of having an interim champion to begin with? And is it Punk's ego? Is it to make Punk have another feel good moment in Chicago? Yeah, because Tony Khan might as well just say, "Oh, well, you know what? AEW's never leaving Chicago," and just do it. That being said, I would not be surprised if Punk wins thanks to MJF. And we get a Punk MJF team. We've seen what they could do against each other. Imagine what they could do together as a united front. So I'm gonna go with Punk.
What say you, Drew?
Okay, this is a whole bunch of, I'm gonna say the word shit, to be honest with you. The whole thing with having, I'm still on this. Okay, with
Drew? Can you hear us, Drew?
Oh, he's probably going on something passionate, and he may have either turned off his mic or he knocked it out of this plug.
Okay, are we still here?
Yes. We are here.
Okay. So like I was saying, it's a story. With the whole Punk losing last week, it's to tell a story, but you don't have the time to tell the story. Because if you took the time to actually build this, like we all knew, I don't know if Punk breaking his foot was probably when he jumped in the crowd after winning the title and all that kind of stuff. But if you had the time to actually tell the story, he comes back too early. He loses in the way he loses, right? But we don't see him on TV. That's something where you shoot these things off-site, where he's there with Ace Steel and he's doubting himself. Like, do I still have it anymore? Am I still the best in the world? And Ace Steel does his Mickey to Rocky moment. That's what happened on this last edition of Dynamite. That's why he got the piss and vinegar to go in the crowd and say, "We are Chicago and we're gonna fight and nobody can stop us and we're gonna show we're the best in the world." That's the story. That's the hook. But the problem with Tony Khan and the rest of the booking committee or whoever else is booking the stick for AEW is that they don't take time for things that are organically made to manifest. They just hot shot everything. I've never been a fan of interim championships whatsoever. Never have been. I'm never a fan when I see them in the UFC. I'm never a fan of. There should be some type of rule in combat sports. If you cannot defend the belt within the allotted in pro wrestling, you can make up a days. You could say if somebody doesn't defend the belt in 30 days, then the belt will be vacated. Something like that. That's simple rule. So if Punk's injury happens, the belt is vacated. You can do those same things. Jon Moxley is the undisputed champion. So when the whole story, now that match could have happened last week. Moxley blows through Punk. Punk doubts himself, but you're not building to All Out. You're building to the next pay-per-view down the road. You know what I mean? Then it becomes more of a bigger match. And
but that wasn't going to be in Chicago.
Well, who cares where it is? Who cares? I don't care if it's. That's another thing that AEW is doing. They're pigeonholing themselves in one market where you're oversaturating the market. Where the market might not even show up if you come back there again in the next couple of months. Because you're over, like this whole weekend, you have Rampage and what Dynamite, Rampage, the pay-per-view, all in one city. You're gonna oversaturate the market. You gotta go away from the city, and I'm glad they're going to other places. They're coming up here to Toronto in October, and all that kind of stuff is great. But why are we booking based upon one particular guy? I know he's your biggest star. I know he's your biggest draw. I know all of that. And for me, that's why I put MJF as the Joker in the Battle Royal, and then Punk can win the belt from Moxley, and then that's where MJF cashes in his particular thing or his chance, beats Punk, and becomes the new AEW World Champion. That's the way I would book it. And then you, like, honestly, now you have pissed off the Chicago crowd. You have pissed off Moxley fans. And who is the most hated heel in pro wrestling before he cut his amazing promo, his own version of the pipe bomb? It's MJF. And that's a homegrown guy now that is now the focal point of your promotion. And in a way, he is sticking it to Tony Khan. That's how you end all out weekend.
And that would be a great way to end it if they actually did it. But, you know, the way I see it, unfortunately, cut and dry, Punk wins. It should be, honestly, it should be Moxley. But Punk wins. He celebrates with the crowd. Happy moment for Chicago, and the rest of the world is just like, yeah. That's the way I see it. Yeah, and that will conclude our coverage of AEW All Out. Join us next week as we review it, because that should be interesting and fun. And I'll conclude this episode as a whole. Thank you so much, Drew, for coming on and talking with us again.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. You know, leaves are changing out here in the Great White North. The snow might be falling soon, but it's always a great time to talk professional wrestling with you two.
Oh, absolutely.
Whippers.
And of course, if you want more of Drew, where can we find the Gr8ful Yardy Podcast?
Gr8ful Yardy Podcast is available wherever you get your favorite podcast. So that's Apple Podcasts, that's Spotify, that's Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict. You can hit me up on the social media thing. Twitter is DWrestling99. Instagram is Drew_Wrestling99. And if you want, you can check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Gr8ful Yardy. And Grateful is spelled GR8FUL.
And of course, if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, tell anybody that likes, this kind of stuff. So, we can grow and people could find us as well. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Freddie Hudson. And Wednesday, Sean Donovan. Follow the show at Wrestling with You on Twitter for all new information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and everything else pertaining to wrestling entertainment. And of course, on Instagram as well at Wrestling with You. You can follow me personally at JamesJ903. You can follow Kaliko at I Am Kaliko, and where can we find Scooter?
As always, find me on Twitter at ScooterDust. Find me, James, and Ryan Dust hosting the Remix on YouTube, a premium audio companion experience for all your WWE Premium live event needs in alternate commentary. Next time we come to you, October 8th, with Extreme Rules. And of course, revel in all my Twitch antics along with Rico Constantino Jr. and the rest of the Smoking Dragons clan, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
For our very special guest, Gr8ful Yardy Podcast, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey guys, this is Brutal Bob Evans from Hangs with Bob Seminars and TheWrestleLife.com, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.